Hey, it's Darlene. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my creative life. So a while ago, I did a scrapbooking store haul and I showed this 6x6 pad, and it's from Prima Marketing. I can't remember the exact name of it. And for some reason, folks, I could not find the pad, but I bought it specifically because I had some pictures of us when we visited Columbia State Park, which is like an older town that it's now a tourist place where they have stores and museums and like in this case right here, candle making, just all that kind of stuff in the gold rush time up in Columbia in California, like I mentioned. So I knew I needed some kind of vintage, some kind of paper that gave that same vibe. Well, when I bought this pad, I thought it seemed perfect until I opened it up. And really, although it does have a very vintage vibe, most of it is about cooking, and there's these little mice which are super cute, except for, they're using like a KitchenAid, blenders, things like that, which are definitely not vintage. But since I had it at home, it's really cute, and I still feel like it gives a vintage vibe. So when I went to a crop, this was back in February, I put down these 6x6 pages, and you could see just from the layouts, it's super simple, nothing really fancy, but I put two 6x6 pieces of paper side by side, whether it was going across the top or over on the left and right sides. But I had two-page spreads and one page spread, of pictures to do, because I am going to use some flip-flaps, on the last single page, because I need to make room for another page, which I'll do later. But so this is going really quick because basically I'm just showing you that I'm putting the photos down. I don't know how I'm going to decorate these pages because it took me forever to find these papers, and the embellishments that came with the papers really were more like modern day kitchen things. And sure, we did see a museum with kitchen utensils, things like that, but that definitely was not the theme or the way I was trying to go with these layouts. But since I really did like that paper, like I said, I stuck with it because I thought it looked really good. Well, I had an aha moment. Now, if you guys have a Cricut, and I don't know how Silhouette or any of those other cutting systems work, but with the Cricut, there's a Cricut Design Space, and there's tons of images. I am an Access member, so I have free access to them for most of the images, except for the licensed ones. We'll get into that later. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to make some print then cut elements for these pages. Folks, how I am not doing this more often. Really, I should not be buying any embellishments because I have the Cricut and I can pretty much do anything, because again, they have thousands and thousands of images. Now, these are some that I picked out. I'm going to go through it really quickly, but look at how fun. I did a search for, I did like Wild West, I did vintage, I did prairie, I did gosh, I can't even think. Just anything that you could possibly think of that kind of came across these little things, outdoors, Western, did I say that? And these are from the pages that I am going to cut out some of those mason jars because I thought those were really nice. So I printed a bunch of them and I just used it on cardstock. Now I could have done this on sticker paper and I could have had adhesive already in the back, but it was just so much easier for me to do it on cardstock because I feel like I have more cardstock than I do sticker paper. And again, I wasn't really sure what I was doing and I felt comfortable doing it that way. Again, you could do it on sticker paper. Now, one more thing to note, every image that I did, so when I did these searches, so if you go down on Cricut Design Space, you put in your image search, what you're searching for, and then on the bottom, when it starts showing you the images, there's a little tab that says Advanced Search. So I clicked on that, and then I selected Print Then Cut. I didn't want to go through the whole hassle of, flattening it and doing all of that stuff. I just wanted items that were already set up to be print then cut items. I had a ton to choose from. So I just went through and I just added to my canvas as much as I could, or what I thought really worked. I mean, some of these, like I said, look at the little tin pails. I mean, they printed out beautifully. The one thing that I wasn't really sure if it went was those lanterns that are on that bottom right corner here. They're almost more cartoonish. And when they're small images on my screen, I didn't really notice that. You will notice I do end up using those. So that wasn't really a big problem. But, anyhow, like I said, I found so many images, and I mean, I want to say free images, but I mean, I do pay for the membership, so, or the access, whatever. But so maybe it's not technically free, but it's also free because I didn't go out and buy any more. So I just started playing with these things. I just started layering them, putting them in different areas, stacking things, just kind of no rhyme or reason, just trying to make it look visually appealing. I had cut 2 different sizes of the stagecoach because I was determined to use them. You will be happy to know that I end up using it, but at the very end you'll see it. But it seems like every single one of these layouts, I am somehow trying to work in this stagecoach. It's actually kind of funny. But what was I saying? Oh, so the nice thing about doing this as well is I mentioned I did 2 different sizes of the stagecoaches. I also did different sizes of the same flowers. I also, you'll see it. Let me see if I can see it on the page. It was over there on the left. You can see there's perfume bottles where the, gosh, I don't even know what it's called, the bulb, that you squeeze to actually spray out or mist out the perfume. I don't remember what the original, let's say it was on the right side. So I flipped some. So then that was one. So the little puffer thing was on the left side. So I did that in a couple of different pots, one of the flower pots, because I wasn't sure where they were going to sit on the layout. And I thought, well, why not have lots of choices? But I'm going through, and like I mentioned, I have 2 double page spreads and I have 1 single page spread. And I'm just really playing. I mean, that's what's fun about this. And I think that's also why I wanted to put these on cardstock instead of sticker, because if they were stickers, it's kind of harder to play when it's got a sticky back. And these, I just added the adhesive later. Again, no big deal. So I'm going to go through all of these just really quick. And just, like I said, I'm moving one thing to the left, moving another thing to the right. I'm changing some things altogether, but I'm really trying to make some clusters that make sense. And of course, I want to do some journaling spots as well, which was on that kind of looked like vintage paper or like coffee stained paper, which again, I didn't do anything except for select images and size them. And when I was sizing them, I sort of had an idea of what size I needed just based on where I had the photos or the photo placements. So, but there were some that I thought, oh, I probably could have made it a little smaller or a little bigger, et cetera, et cetera. But again, I'm just playing, and you can see how fun that is when you have an assortment of embellishments. Before I forget, I do want to mention I do post at least 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking. The other is whatever it is I'm creating in the craft room, or the command center is what my craft room is called, and also my blog. I'll have a link in the information box to my blog and any other information I think you may need. The paper I mentioned earlier, or I think I mentioned, it's from Prima Marketing. It's something like Vintage Kitchen or Kitchen Mouse or something like that. I apologize again. I can't find my pad. It's the weirdest thing. I know I'm going to find it as soon as I'm done recording this video. But it's really cute, and you could see, and the back sides are very nice too. The floral that's on that bottom left-hand side, that's a back side, and then the upper right-hand side, one that looks like tile, but it also looks like metal tile. I mean, this stuff is gorgeous. I was able to keep the mouse on a lot of them because I thought it did work with what I was doing. The only time I really tried to cover her was when she was holding, like I mentioned before, a KitchenAid, blender or something. Like, I know that wasn't around back in the 1800s. I don't know if anybody would notice, but I would have, and it was just making me crazy. But anyhow, so back to my channel. If you are interested in learning a little bit more about my channel, I do have an introduction video, which you are more than welcome to look at. And it talks about how I am a crafter in general. So I do a lot of different crafty things, and I film a lot of different crafty things. So I have a lot of different playlists that hopefully will appeal to you, not just scrapbooking, but also card making and art journaling, painting, different type of Cricut projects like using vinyl and HTV, lots of fun stuff. So there still is a lot of time left on this video, And instead of just babbling about nothing, I am going to be talking a little bit more about what I'm doing or my thought process. So here I did print out originally a bunch of these journaling spots, or there also could be considered like cluster bases. And so I really wasn't sure what size to do. I did the larger ones at 4x6 and then the smaller ones at 3x4. And as you can tell right here, that 3x4 was still a little too large. So it was kind of a nice thought to think, oh, I can slice that in half, put, one side on the left side of the layout, trim it down a little bit, and then put the remainder side on that right side of the layout. And I thought that looked really well. Now, originally I was only going to put those embellishments over there on that left-hand corner of that little journaling spot. But then I kind of look up and see I have a ton of embellishments that I cut out, and a lot of them are small. So like this cologne bottle, even though that's not the one I leave there, but it worked. It doesn't really like overpower that one little area, because sure, I'm going to put a little journaling there, but it's still a pretty small area, so I'm not putting a lot of journaling there. So it was really fun just kind of digging through and just trying to layer. And even if it was just one or two things, sometimes I try to do three. I know a lot of times we're told, hey, everything should be like, odd numbers, group of three, things like that. You know what? It doesn't always have to be. I mean, I'm kind of learning. I mean, it's nice to have some kind of guidelines, but, don't be, oh, shoot, I only have two tea kettles over there on that, left side. Hey, I'm good with it. It works. And if I wanted to, I could lay another flower there or something, which, to be honest with you, I think I do at the end, only because I'm, again, I have all these embellishments. Pretty sure I'm not going to do any more vintage, Wild West, colonial, not even colonial, I guess it's more like prairie type layouts. Or if I do, I'll worry about it then. So I really am trying to use as many of these embellishments as I can without just over dumping or, just having way too much on the layout. Now, I did mention, or maybe I didn't, I can't remember, but I do have another layout because we took those old timey pictures. Oh my goodness, so fun. And the cool thing is we had 4 generations of girls in our family, or women. So it was my mom, me, my daughter, and my daughter-in-law, and then my 3 granddaughters. And that picture, or those pictures, turned out so good. And so I'm going to do another layout of that. So I'm sure I'll film that and you can look for that later. So I will use some of these leftover embellishments. I'm not too worried about it, which is also why I need to find that pad, because I need that paper so I can coordinate. But sorry. So when I did print out these embellishments, you see how I have those buildings? They didn't have an old-fashioned schoolhouse. I was really surprised, or at least whatever I put in for image search could not find one. So I just kind of used what I had. Originally, I thought I would lay them all 3 going across, but then you notice it just didn't look right. And you know what? I was okay with just having that one little building just kind of tucked there. And I'm talking about that bottom left-hand corner. But so fun. And also using the smaller journaling spot there instead of the bigger one. I think it just balanced so much better. And I am just having the best time. I do end up putting another part of this embellishment thing because I cut it down a little bit to work on this cluster up here, and then I kind of do the same thing on a different layout. But again, and as you notice, if you're looking at all these pictures, I am really trying hard to use the Stagecoach, and I do end up using one on one of the double page spreads. So look for that at the end when I show off the pictures. But I do hope you like this video, and if you do, give me a thumbs up. Again, leave a comment. Just play around in Cricut Design Space and maybe make your own embellishments, especially if you're looking for something like this that's very unique and very, unusual to find. Like, you're not going to find a whole bunch of this type of layouts, or embellishments at a scrapbooking store or website. Or maybe you are, I don't know, maybe I just didn't have any luck, but I just love the fact that I could do my own and also custom the sizes, because we mentioned that as far as being large, small, or looking to the left, looking to the right, things like that. Anyhow, I do hope you enjoy this. Again, if you do, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Leave any comments if you have comments, and really just, have fun. Check out the other layouts at the end and look at all these embellishments that I have left. So much fun. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And like I mentioned before, stay tuned for all of the layouts. I am going through them right now, but you're going to see in a minute the full layouts with my journaling. And then I do have a question. So on the single layout, when you see the final one at the end, there is a blank space. I'm really bad with blank space apparently, but tell me what you think. If you think it looks okay just to have that blank space, or is there something else that I should do? I appreciate your opinion. As always, thanks again for watching. Appreciate you watching as well. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.